Are you ready to get more customers? Because that's my goal to help you get more customers this week. Hi, my name is Erica, and today is day 15 of my 30-day YouTube challenge, where I try to post a video every day for 30 days about how to help small businesses thrive instead of just survive. Since today is day 15, I am kicking off a new week where I focus mainly on business advice from YouTubers that are telling people like you, if you're a business owner, that this is what you need to do to take your business to the next level. I have been a business researcher for over 20 years, and the type of research that I do is I look at how each individual business fits into the web that is their market. No business is an island. Each one is connected to another, and that's the kind of thing I look at. This week, I want to focus on the YouTubers that I think are giving excellent business advice, and I want to give you kind of some advice from not only my research background, but I've actually been a flight attendant also. For the last 7.5 years, I have traveled all over the country and I have seen a lot of problems in a lot of businesses. Today's video, I want to do a reaction video to Wes McDowell, and his video is called How to Get More Local Business Instantly, Local SEO 2025. Right now it is December 2024. So I am looking forward to what he has to say. A lot of the videos that he focuses on are basically digital marketing, online marketing, YouTube marketing, stuff like that. Keep in mind, the research that I do, I'm looking at people's websites. I'm looking for their businesses. This is what I've done for the last 20 years. I have searched incessantly for any kind of business information that I can find for every single business. So I'm kind of an expert in what businesses do and do not put on their websites, or how they do and do not advertise their business correctly. I'm going to go ahead and put this at 1.5 times speed. That way he talks kind of like a chipmunk, just because I don't want to watch 18 minutes and 39 seconds. I don't want to add that to the length of this video. If you think this is too fast for you, you can always slow down your own pace on your video. I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the video in the description below. So if you want to go over to his channel and you want to watch this video in regular, normal speed, you can do that. Or if you want to subscribe to his channel because you think it's good, you can just follow the link over to his video. Okay, let's go ahead and hit play.
Most local businesses are only able to target and rank in their own backyard. But what if you could rank across your entire service area with just a few changes? In this video, I'm going to show you the new method that's finally letting local service businesses rank 5, 10, 20, 30 miles away from their physical location, what changes you'll need to make to your website, and the super easy addition to your Google business profile that makes the whole
Google business profile.
Let's start by talking about the big problem with local SEO. Now, here's the thing. It's really easy to rank in app searches that are really close to your business, but as searchers get further out from your business, your ability to rank drops by a lot, unfortunately. So just for an example, let's say you were a landscaping business and you're in Oak Park, Illinois, but you want to get clients in Chicago or in Evanston up here, or, in Elmhurst. The problem is your business here is not close enough to rank for these cities here. And the reason this is a problem at all is because the proximity of your physical address to the searcher is still the #1 ranking factor, even for service businesses where, clients don't come to you. Things like, if you were a plumber who travels out to clients in a 30-mile radius, or if you're a graphic designer who works from home and you can help clients remotely anywhere they are. If that's the case, you're just very unlikely to be found by a searcher even 5 miles away from them, which is a huge bummer, obviously. But luckily, there's a way around this now. So now let's talk about the new strategy. And by the way, this PDF that I'm working from, I'm going to make it available to you. Just go to the link in the description below this video. That way you don't have to take any notes. So let's start off with step 1, which is listing all of your services. So you're just going to start by writing down every service your business offers, and that list is going to form the basis of your expansion strategy. So example, for a landscaping company, services might be things like lawn mowing, garden design, tree trimming, patio installation. For a plumbing business, it might be pipe repair, drain cleaning, water heating installation, or emergency plumbing services. So whatever your business is, just start by writing down all of the different services you offer. Next, you're going to want to identify all the cities that you want to rank for in your business. So again, if you're in a park, you probably want to rank for the bigger city of Chicago, right? Evanston, Elmhurst, Oakland. These are all cities that you want to rank for. Write them all down in a separate list. Just make sure these are a reasonable distance where you can actually work with people if you're traveling out. You don't want to start ranking for places 200 miles away if you're not really realistically willing to go that far. Okay, now for step 3, you're going to take your 2 separate lists, remember, for your services and for your cities. And this is going to give you all the different combinations for the pages you're going to need to create. So just list them all out in a table like this so you can see at a glance what you have to do. And each box up here represents a new page you'll need to create. So it's an easy way to keep track of all of it. Okay, if you're still with me, it's time for step 4 now, which is prioritizing all of those pages you have to create based on the search volume. So what you want to do here is research to get the search volume for each service in each city, just so you can determine which combinations are going to have the most searches on them. It's going to help you focus your efforts where they can definitely have the most impact. So obviously, only so many hours in a day, you're running a business. You can't just be willy-nilly creating pages. You want to create the ones first that are going to have the most impact, right? So, but when we talk about keyword research, how exactly do we do that? Well, we need to use keyword research tools to get us there. So there's a few I recommend. I happen to like SEMrush. It is paid, unfortunately, so you have to pay for that one. And it is a little bit of a steep learning curve. It's not too bad. You can definitely find YouTube videos that'll show you how to use it. Now, here's a free one called Keywords Everywhere. It's just a browser extension. You put on Chrome or whatever. It's going to show you the search volume again. You just want to get a YouTube video and it'll show you how to use it. And also Google Keyword Planner is free. That might be the easiest one to use. So you've got some options depending on, do you want to pay or if you want to use something free. So then given all that keyword research you do, you're going to start ordering these. Like let's say, Chicago lawn mowing has the most search volume. You just label that as 1. Then, Naperville tree trimming is 2, right? That's the second highest search volume. So you're just going to put these in whatever order makes sense. That way, you know which order to go in when you're making all these pages. Then from here, what I would probably do is write out an actual list of all these just to make it easier so you're not working on a table anymore. But this just helps you really easily visualize it when you're getting started.
I want to go ahead and I want to add in my 2 cents real quick. He is talking about Chicago, which happens to be where I live. And some of the things that he's talking about can be added onto. The first thing that you should know about Chicago, and this may not apply to you if you live in a small town. Chicago is something like 77 towns all smashed together that make up the greater Chicago area. And one of the problems that exists in Chicago is that a lot of the contractors will only travel 20 miles because anything over 20 miles can easily take an hour to get to. You have so many people in the Chicagoland area and you have so many contractors, so many landscapers, and so many towns, just like he's talking about. But there are some things you want to keep in mind. For example, he put Chicago as an area. Now, Chicago city limits is actually downtown Chicago, and there are no lawns in downtown Chicago. None. It's a city. It's all cement. So putting Chicago would give you the whole Chicagoland area, which isn't going to narrow anything down for you. Keep that in mind when you're putting in your own words. The other thing that you want to think about is who are your competition in your area? Are they advertising that as well? So if you were to actually do a search in Google for the keywords that he's suggesting, see who's at the top and just do a general search for your business, do the type of business, do the cities like he's saying, and see who is your competition. You want to see where they're located because if you kind of move into their area, it may be very hard for you to establish a foothold there. The other thing you want to do, I did a video the other day about US Census information. You'll want to pull up the census information for all of these different little towns that you're listing for. See where the money is, because if it's lower income, you don't want to bother going there. Also, if it's mostly renters, you don't necessarily want to go there either. What you're looking at is you are looking for areas with houses. You are looking for areas where they have extra money. You kind of just want to look at where your competition is. You want to look at where the money is, and you want to look at where the renters are, stuff like that. Look for those kind of things for your business and think about that as well. So that way you're just not randomly picking out a bunch of towns and you don't waste your time trying to market to areas that you don't need to be at. That's what I would add to what he's talking about. For me, I would throw out the word Chicago completely and stick to those smaller towns that he's talking about. Although they are very far apart, there might not be any competition in some of those towns, which would be great. Or they could be completely loaded with competition and then you're throwing your hat in that ring for no particular reason, unless there's a lot of money there. That's my advice for that. Let's get back to the video.
So from here, step 5, we need to actually create all of these service location pages. So for each combination of service and city, you need a dedicated page on your website, and you're going to generally want to base that on your homepage layout. What you don't want to do is create a service city page that just looks like a complete afterthought. Because think about it, if this is how people are finding you, you want it to feel like a homepage with all the persuasive elements that go on one. A nice hero section, benefits, FAQs, possibly testimonials, all of that good stuff. You don't want it to just look like a blog post, which is, let's face it, that's what most businesses do with their service pages, right? So it's just sit on your homepage layout. It's going to work a lot better. So you're going to obviously start with those highest priority pages, one at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just finish one, then move on to the next one as time allows, and just keep going in, descending order from there. And you've got some real life examples here. Sorry, like the text is a little hard to read on them, but you also have to take my word for it. This one is, for Oak Park Landscaping Services, Evanston Landscaping Services, Winnetka Landscaping Services. So they all look fairly similar, similar treatment, just different photos, different text. Now for this, just a few action items I recommend doing. So again, use your homepage as a template, just to maintain that consistent look and feel. And also so it just feels like thought has been put into each one. Because they're not going to your homepage, right? They're going to that page first. And then you want to title each page with the service and location. Like lawn mowing services. That's going to be your headline, your main headline on the page. And it's also going to be what comes after your email address. So let's say it is Chicago.com, and then it would be / lawn mowing services Evanston, for example. Okay, moving right along to step 6. You're going to want to customize your content with ChatGPT. Let's get smart about it. Let's not overwork ourselves and think we have to write brand new content from scratch for each of these pages. No one has time for that. You certainly don't have time
I
for
agree
that
with
either.
that.
So to make each page unique and relevant with a specific location, you want to use ChatGPT to lightly rewrite and customize the content for each individual page you're doing. Make sure you're including your keyword phrase, which is generally going to be that service in location, lawn mowing in Chicago, tree trimming in Naperville. That's going to be your keyword phrase. You want to put that in the H1 heading. What's an H1 heading? If you don't know, that is just the big headline at the top of each page. Then you want to use the keyword in several subheadings and multiple times in the body text as well. So if you've got a benefits section, let's say further down the page, you want to use that keyword phrase in that subheading as well. And maybe a few times just when in your paragraphs or in your bullet lists. You can easily work them in as needed there. You want to do it a couple times for sure. You also want to incorporate those closely related phrases to further enhance your SEO. So examples of closely related phrases for lawn mowing services in Evanston might be grass cutting in Evanston, Evanston lawn care experts, professional garden maintenance, or lawn services. So it's not just a repeat word for word of lawn mowing services in Evanston, but it's related. Google will see that and think, okay, they're not just trying to game the system here. They're actually using phrases that one would expect to see on a page that's about this topic. Make sense? Or for pipe repair, Naperville, you have Naperville plumbing services, emergency pipe fix, water leak repair, fix pipes, that kind of thing. Okay, now we're continuing. We're still inside of step 6. So in order to make each page unique and relevant to your specific location, here is the example ChatGPT prompt that I would use. And again, you can download this PDF by going to the link beneath this video, so you don't have to pause the video and type this out yourself. So you're going to give it its objective first. You're going to say, write and optimize new landing page content to help my business rank higher in Google Map searches for my specific service and location.
I agree.
Please take the following webpage content. Then this is where you're going to actually insert your homepage copy right there. You're going to give it the copy you already have, and you're going to say, rewrite it to include, this service and location text. Continuing, lightly rewrite and customize it for a landing page targeting the SEO keyword phrase. And then you would insert your location service keyword phrase here. Lawn mowing in Naperville, tree trimming Chicago, whatever it is, you put it right there. Then you're going to give it some requirements. It always helps to tell it exactly what to do. So we'll tell it to include the keyword phrase in the H1 heading. We already talked about that. That's the top headline of your page. Use the keyword in several subheadings and multiple times in the body text. Incorporate closely related phrases and emphasize local relevance and service offerings to appear to nearby customers. Okay, once we've done that, it is time for step 7, updating your Google Business Profile, otherwise known as your GBP. So what we need to do here is connect your Google Business Profile to each of your new service location pages. And this is important. You don't need to create a new location or a listing with your GBP for this. We're operating under the assumption here that you don't actually have multiple locations. You have one location, but you're able to travel out to all these different cities. That's what this strategy is. So the way we do this, the way we connect these dots between your new pages and your Google Business Profile is for each service location combination, for each page you created, you're going to add a product or service listing in your GBP. So you can see this here. So if you're going to log into your GBP, you're going to add a new product right here. That could be lawn mowing in Chicago, right? Then from there, you can start adding categories. So let's say you're going to do all these pages for the lawn mowing service, right? So do lawn mowing Naperville, lawn mowing Chicago, lawn mowing Evanston. You would then just create a category, and then you can put all of your lawn mowing products or services into that category. That way, it's nice and organized within your Google Business Profile. So highly recommend doing it that way. You can put the price in. It doesn't really affect the strategy here. Product description. This is interesting. Make a description for it, but don't go kind of crazy putting in all the keywords. It's not really going to help you here. So just put in a respectable description that tells people what it is. Don't go overboard. But here's where the rubber meets the road, and you put in your product landing page. It says optional, but it's not. That's the whole reason why we're doing this. So what you're going to put in there is the link to the page for this particular product. Here, lawn mowing in Chicago, right? That's going to link to your lawn mowing in Chicago page right here. So then from there, feel free to add a photo. Not super important to the strategy, but might as well be complete, right?
Real quick, just to go into what he was talking about a second ago, about the product description, you can have ChatGPT do that as well and have them include keyword. The product landing page, I agree, very important that you're going to want to use those keywords like the town he was talking about in the link for the page, like say it's landscapingservices.com/Chicago. That can kind of help you. The drag a photo here, incredibly important. As a researcher, I'm going to tell you it's incredibly important because if you don't put that in yourself, a picture of whatever, then Google will a lot of times snag a picture of your business address. So if your business address is your house, it'll snag a picture of your house. If your business address is across the street from an empty lot, you can't always see the street numbers from the Google Maps car that goes by. There have been so many times I have done research and I have gone to a Google profile And I have tried to click on the page to see what the business looked like, just to see if the business was still in existence. And I find myself looking at an empty field or an empty parking lot, or there's a building off in the distance and there's no sign on it. And I'm doing a 360-degree turn in that area. I'm going up and down the Google street trying to find that business. And it is super frustrating if there's no picture, because then you have no idea if the business still exists, or you have no idea if you're even in the right area. So definitely add a picture, even if it's not a picture of your business. He showed 3 pictures. They looked like the city halls for those particular businesses. And that's not a bad idea. You can put in a picture of that. But the point is you're getting a picture for your person to let them know this is probably the business. So even if it's not your business, they're going to think that you're still in business because there's an actual photo. Also, the other thing you should know, what he's having you do with this for the Google profile, if you don't claim your Google business profile, somebody else can. And a lot of times Google will try to make up the information for you based on the people that come to your business. Sometimes they get the hours of operation from the business, and sometimes they just figure it out from the data of the customers going there. The reason I know that is because you will see a little link on a lot of these businesses that will say when the busiest times are. And the only way they could know that what the busiest times are is really by tracking the Google Maps on people's phones and their Google location and figuring out, like, okay, there's more people coming on these days and stuff. It's not something they look at individually. It's something that their computers do, their algorithms do, because, I mean, there's hundreds of millions of people in this country. They don't really care to track each one of us individually. But keep that in mind when you are adding the new products or services. Definitely add a picture. That way, when people click on that picture, they think that you're still in business.
So once you've done that, next you want to adjust your service area. So you want to update your Google Business Profile to include all of the new cities that you're targeting. That just shows your new potential customers they are in your service area and you will work with them. This step isn't what's going to help you rank. This is just for future clients to see that you can work with them where they are. So you're just going to start searching for
Makes
areas.
sense.
We have Winnetka here. You're just going to one at a time. You've already done Naperville, Oak Park, Evanston, Chicago. You're just going to one by one put those cities in there and you're good to go. Now step 8. So of course, if you know anything about SEO, what we've already covered is only going to get you so far. You need to still build citations and backlinks to your, not only to your website, but to your individual service location pages you just built. So you need it for each new page. Now let's talk citations for a second. A citation is simply any mention of your business online. So you're going to want to submit each service location landing page to online directories. That's generally where we keep the citations, right? So how do citations actually help you rank? Well, it's basically there's verifying your business existence and relevance. It's just a signal to Google. So what are some common citation directories? Things like Yelp, Yellow Pages, Bing Places, and the Better Business Bureau, to name a couple. But there are other places for you to get citations too, besides the biggest players. So you want to focus on niche directories for your industry first, right? So if you're a pet sitter, it'd be Pet Sitters International. There's a website for that. Or Wedding Wire, if you're a wedding planner. Clutch for IT, this for home cleaning services. You get the idea. Every industry kind of has their own online directories that you want to get set up on. The other thing you want to focus on, really important, is local directories for your location. So if you're in Chicago, it'd be, choose Chicago or the Chicago Chamber of Commerce, Chicago Business Directory, Evanston Now, Naperville Local, all the places that are directories meant for your immediate location. So focus on your industry, niche ones first, then your location ones. That's citations. Now let's talk backlinks. So whenever you're trying to rank any new page in Google, you need to get links from other reputable websites pointing to your new service and location pages. Think of these as just votes, basically. Like other websites think so much of your website, they're actually linking to you. So that's kind of the idea of why links are important. They still are. Google will say they're not. Not true. They still use backlinks as a huge ranking signal. So the problem with backlinks is this can be challenging to do for multiple pages. It's really hard to do it yourself. But if you want to do it yourself, I've got some suggestions for you. Ways to get backlinks would be to create link-worthy content for each service, things like high-quality guides, case studies, articles that will attract some natural backlinks. Or even better, probably, it's a little more direct, is using a guest posting strategy where you're basically going to write guest posts for industry blogs. So you work it out with other blogs, other websites, and say, hey, I want to write an article for you. It's going to be a helpful article, and you're just going to insert a link to your page in there. Generally, the way you do that is in the bio section. So it'll be an article, then it'll be your bio at the end. Like, any article has like about the author. Within there, it'll say, Nathan Smith is the owner of, Lawn Care Chicago. And you just, with that Lawn Care Chicago, you would link to your most high priority page. You can also do something what we call a competitor backlink analysis. So you're just going to use some kind of a tool, some kind of an SEO tool like SEMrush to analyze your competitors' backlinks and then kind of do something similar. So you're You're taking what you see them doing and you're trying to get the same links for yourself. Problem is you have to outdo them. You can't just do the same as them or it doesn't really work. Or create and distribute infographics for each service. It's kind of a natural link attractor. That's if you want to do it yourself. I don't necessarily recommend doing it that way, because it can be so complex. So if you need help, I would consider reaching out to Chris Plumber SEO. He's actually the guy that taught me the strategy. Shout out to you, Chris. He does this stuff all the time. So if you want this kind of thing done for you, backlinks built, I would reach out to Chris Plumber SEO out of Florida and just call it a day. Now, of course, this strategy is a bit more of an advanced one, and it's not going to help you that much if you don't already have the basics covered. But don't worry, I've got you in this video where I'm going to share all the top ranking factors that you need to get just right. I even scored each one of them so you know what to start with that's going to give you the most bang for your effort and which ones you can pretty much skip because they just don't even work anymore. So click right here and let's get you set up right.
This right here, step 8, build citations and backlinks. I gotta say, I definitely agree with going to the directories and putting it in. You wouldn't believe how many times I've been to Yelp and the business has never claimed the page, and it's basically a useless page. Yelp may not necessarily be used as often anymore as Google is. Google is definitely more thorough, but Yelp is kind of like the number 2 in the industry. Like I said, in the research industry, I'm looking at businesses all the time. I'm trying to find out if they're still in existence. I check Google first, I check Yelp, and I don't really bother with Yellow Pages, honestly, or Bing Places. I will check Better Business Bureau to see what people are saying about a business. I don't necessarily do that in the research industry, but as a consumer, I will sometimes check Better Business Bureau, especially if Yelp has a lot of bad reviews. And remember, there's people on Yelp, they do review the business, as does Google. So you would definitely want to make sure that you go there. Niche directories for your industry. I absolutely 100% agree with this. I will strip niche directories all the time. I've been to Wedding Wire probably a few hundred times. I have pulled so many of their pages because I've done research projects on wedding venues. I'm not familiar with the other ones. That doesn't necessarily fall into my business, but if I were looking for pet sitting, I would probably come across Pet Sitters International. He is talking about landscaping, so you would want to kind of see if there's a landscaping directory that you could include yourself in. There are home sites, apps, and stuff like that. I want to say Angie's List. If you were in landscaping, I would definitely look for apps that have to do with home services. And this is one of them. I believe it's called Thumbtack, something like that. It's got house cleaning, handyman, appliance repair, local moving, and I've used this to find all kinds of things. So you would definitely, if you were in the landscaping industry, you would want to find like Angie's List and add your stuff to that as well. I actually talked about Choose Chicago yesterday when I was talking about overnight visitors. Choose Chicago is basically the company that keeps track of overnight visitors in Chicago. That would be a good one to do. For sure, like you would want to look for whoever your tourist site is. That's basically what he's saying. So a business directory would be a great one. Evanston Now and Naperville Local are probably both business directories. Every town that I've researched does have some kind of website where they try to advertise for their local businesses. You want to make sure your site is intact and complete on that page because people coming to town for the first time, they check those pages out all the time. I totally will rip those websites apart when I do research. Let's see, what else did we talk about? Backlinks. I kind of agree with this. You can kind of create backlinks with social media. Here's one of the things that I definitely recommend. If you are in a business, you may want to consider having a YouTube channel. I'm seeing so many businesses on YouTube actually start to just record themselves doing their service and then putting it on YouTube. And they end up building a really nice passive income. Some are even growing so fast that it's ridiculous. I've seen a lot of landscapers actually record themselves cleaning up a yard, the before and the after pictures, and they've got hundreds of thousands of views. Pretty sure they're making more money on YouTube than they're making with their business. So it's a great way to turn your business around. And when you actually post those videos onto your website, you're creating a backlink, and then you can share that to like Facebook, you can share that to X, you can share that to whatever sites that you have, the social media sites. It's another way to create backlinks and also kind of share with people that might be in your area. He's talking about like guest blogging in a way, or you write up an article about somebody and you send it to them with your bio at the end. That's not a bad way to do it if you're okay with that. But another way to do it is if you did do a service for one of those businesses, you could ask like, can I share yours? Can I share what I did for you on my website? And then when you put it on your website, you send them the link and then they promote it on their website and it creates another kind of backlink. This backlink thing that he's talking about, it can be time consuming. So if I were you, I would look at who he's saying, this Chris Palmer guy, and see if somebody like that could help you with backlinks and citations if you really want your website to grow. One of the best ways for your website to get you free marketing is simply by adding a blog to your website. By adding a blog to your website, what you're actually doing is you're making your website become a living entity on the internet. If it's just a website and it's just sitting there, it's going to get no traffic whatsoever. Yes, you'll be found by the search engines like he's talking about, but every time you post a new blog, a new article, a new YouTube video, you're basically sending your website to Google to index over and over again, and that will keep you at the top of the search engine. So everything he's saying, I totally agree with. I just would take it to the next level, add a blog feature to that if you haven't already. And I would consider doing YouTube videos as well for your business. Start looking at your industry. Look on YouTube, see what people in your industry are doing as far as YouTube videos, and see if that's something that might interest you. So that's basically the end of this video. Tomorrow I'm going to review another YouTuber, Cody Sanchez. I think she's excellent at talking about business and stuff like that. She has a very unique perspective, and I like what she has to say. If you have some ideas of somebody who you want me to review for you, let me know. Like I said, this week I am focusing on how to get you guys more customers, more eyeballs on your business this week. That's the theme of this week. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in tomorrow's reaction video.